"23,000 individuals in Australia are affected by multiple sclerosis, a chronic degenerative disease that is increasing in prevalence at an alarming rate. It is the most common neurological disease among young adults." Roy and Carol Lansford lost their daughter to the disease in 2002. They founded the Trish Foundation in an effort to find a cure or preventative method for those with MS. Since it was established in December of 2000, over $3.8 million has been donated, staffed by unpaid volunteers with administrative costs covered by foundation directors. Every dollar has gone directly to research. Only a few decades ago, treatment for MS was extremely limited, but with support given through the Trish Foundation, tremendous progress is being achieved. With a scientific research committee to guide them, the Trish Foundation will continue to support research that pushes us towards a cure. Sarah Ross Smith is a working professional, wife and mother who was diagnosed with MS in 2003. We spoke with her to learn more about her experience with MS and the ever-changing landscape of MS treatment.
So I was diagnosed completely out of the blue. I'd been having very weird visual symptoms, which was considered possibly connected with migraine, which I'd had since before I started school. And so they actually picked up that I had MS on a rule-out MRI. It was almost a fluke. And we all just, I think, sat around thinking, well, what does it actually mean going forward? Will I still be able to work? And at that point, I was first up for partnership, and the partners were absolutely supportive and said, we will support whatever decision you want to make. After about 2 weeks, my best friend bundled me off to Noosa, and I think we spent a good week watching The Amazing Race and drinking a lot of French champagne, because, what does one do in those sorts of situations? Family life is good. I've got a very supportive husband. He will sort of be at appointments or at the hospital if I'm in hospital. I have a son who, whilst he's your average teenager, gives as much support as he can. So when I was first diagnosed with MS, he was 2 years old. So it's really interesting now to talk to him about MS, because for him that's his life. I'm absolutely obsessed with the NBA, with basketball. So say, for example, my team, Oklahoma City Thunder, we've travelled to see them play in the finals in the US. I've spent literally thousands of dollars on Thunder merchandise. So it's something I absolutely love. I've never owned it. I would never call it my MS. The sort of MS I have is actually quite aggressive, relapsing, remitting. And what that means is that when I get a relapse, I'll get it quite severely. But even though it's very aggressive, it actually responds really very well to a lot of the MS wonder drugs, so to speak. So at the moment, I'm very asymptomatic. The drugs were mostly self-injectables. It can be quite difficult to do, and if you have MS, you can sometimes be a bit shaky. So after a while, we realised that the injectables were simply not going to be strong enough. So what my neuro at that point said was, I think we should try chemotherapy. And what they said was, this will buy you 2 years. And after that, then I started on natalizumab, which is Tysabri, and that was the drug that was so wonderful for me for almost 3 years. And there's actually a disability severity scale where 0 is no impact, no disability, and 10 is the worst outcome. Now, Tysabri got me from 6.5 to about 2 or 2.5. So that was fantastic, that I actually clawed back a whole range of functions that I had lost. So for as long as I can remain at that steady state, that's fantastic. When I was going through side effects of the MS wonder drug last year, that was very emotionally draining, and I didn't actually realise at the time just how draining it was until we went to the US this year, and it was all of a sudden I came back and I was like I was a new person. That was a really, really hard period that we all had to manage, and it wasn't just me managing it. A couple of times a month I'll probably be so exhausted I will just say, you know what, today I'm not getting out of bed till 11 o'clock, or I'm not going to do anything more today, or I can't walk too far today. But I'm really mindful of the fact that it's a kind of use it or lose it, and I try and walk as much as I can because I'm aware that I don't want to lose any more muscle definition. So in terms of the future for me, what I'm looking for is that not just me, but for the people who are being diagnosed now, we can actually say, we're not going to put you on all these drugs that might have side effects. We're not going to make you go through various treatment options until we find one that suits you. We've got a cure that means that you are going to be in one day and out the next and cured of MS. I mean, the thing with having treatments, it's really good in the sense that when I was first diagnosed, there was very little in the way of treatments. So we've come a very long way in those almost 14 years. I honestly think that we are within reach of getting a cure. When I actually see and hear the latest developments, you know, it's sort of within grasp. It's just sort of just out of our reach. And I think that we're going to get there. And I remember speaking at something once and saying, maybe not in my lifetime, but in someone else's lifetime. And I think it's actually going to be in my lifetime.